Picture this. November 10th, 1942. Stalingrad, Barricadi gun factory. What's left of it anyway? You're lying in rubble, brick dust in your mouth, blood on your hands, not all of it yours. Your rifle, a Machine Nagant, 5 rounds, bolt action, 1 shot, 1 kill. That's the theory. You've been in this same position for 6 hours. Haven't moved, haven't eaten, barely breathed. Your target, a German sniper, somewhere in the ruins across the street, maybe 200 meters away, maybe closer. He's killed 4 of your men this week, 4 good Soviet soldiers, dead because they showed themselves for 2 seconds. That's all it takes. 2 seconds, 1 bullet, gone. You've been hunting him for 3 days. He's been hunting you just as long. This is Stalingrad. This is what warfare has become. Not armies clashing in fields, just 2 men, 2 rifles, waiting. Whoever moves first dies. Whoever blinks first dies. Whoever makes the smallest mistake dies. Your eye is pressed to the scope, scanning, searching, looking for movement, a shadow, a glint of metal, anything. Then you see it, a reflection, sunlight on glass, for half a second. There, 2nd floor, bombed out apartment, window frame without glass. He's there, the German, looking for you just like you're looking for him. Your finger moves to the trigger, slowly, no sudden movements, everything smooth, everything calm. 1 shot, that's all you'll get. Miss, and he'll know your position. Miss, and you're dead. You exhale slowly, steady. The crosshairs settle on the window. On the shadow behind the reflection, you squeeze. The rifle kicks. The shot echoes through the ruins. And across the street, the German sniper falls, dead. Your 32nd kill this month. Your name, Vasily Zaitsev, age 27, former shepherd from the Ural Mountains. In 4 months, you'll have 242 confirmed kills, and you'll become the most famous sniper in history. This is the story of how one Soviet peasant stopped an entire Nazi division, with nothing but a rifle and patience. If you want to know how a shepherd became a legend at Stalingrad, hit that subscribe button. This is the story of Vasily Zaitsev, the man who turned urban warfare into an art form, who fought the most famous sniper duel in history, and who proved that in modern war sometimes 1 man with a rifle matters more than 1,000 men with tanks. Let's start with how a peasant from nowhere became the deadliest soldier at Stalingrad. March 23rd, 1915. Yeleninskoye village, Ural Mountains, Russia. About as far from civilization as you can get. Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev was born into poverty. His father, Grigory, was a peasant. His mother, name lost to history, died when Vasily was young. Life in the Urals? Brutal. Cold. Poor. You hunted to eat, or you didn't eat at all. Vasily started hunting at age 5, not for sport, for survival. His grandfather gave him a single-barrel rifle and said, "Don't waste bullets, we can't afford them. 1 shot, 1 kill." That became Vasily's philosophy. 1 shot, 1 kill. Because in the Urals, you didn't get second chances. By age 12, Vasily could shoot a running wolf at 300 meters. By 15, he could track a deer through snow for 3 days without losing the trail. By 20, he was the best hunter in his village. Not that it meant much. Best hunter in a village of 200 people in the middle of nowhere. But it meant he understood patience, stillness, reading the environment, predicting movement, skills that would save his life at Stalingrad. 1937. Vasily, age 22, joined the Soviet Navy. Not by choice, conscription, the Pacific Fleet. He became a clerk, paperwork, filing, boring. For 5 years he pushed papers in Vladivostok while the world went to hell around him. June 22nd, 1941. Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa. 3 million German soldiers crossed the border. The largest invasion in human history. And the Soviet Union was completely unprepared. Within months, the Nazis captured millions of Soviet soldiers, killed millions of civilians, and pushed deep into Soviet territory. By September 1942, they reached the Volga River and Stalingrad, a city of 400,000 on the west bank of the Volga, an industrial centre, factories, refineries, railways, and strategically critical. If Germany took Stalingrad, they'd control the Volga, cut off Soviet oil supplies from the south, and open the path to Moscow. Stalin's order was simple: not one step back, Stalingrad must not fall, anyone who retreats will be shot. He meant it. Soviet blocking detachments were positioned behind the lines to shoot anyone who fled. You advanced or you died. Those were the options. September 1942. Vasily Zaitsev, still a naval clerk, volunteered for frontline duty. He was tired of pushing papers while his country burned. He wanted to fight. The Soviet command looked at his file. "You're from the Urals? You can hunt?" "Yes, sir." "Good. We're sending you to Stalingrad. You'll be a rifleman. 1047th Rifle Regiment, 284th Rifle Division, 62nd Army." Vasily packed his gear and shipped out. He had no idea what he was walking into. September 19th, 1942. Vasily arrived at Stalingrad and realized he'd walked into hell. The city was gone. Not damaged, gone. German bombers had leveled 80% of the buildings. What remained were ruins, skeletons, rubble. 400,000 civilians, dead or fled. The city was now just Soviet and German soldiers fighting over the corpse of what used to be Stalingrad. The fighting? Unlike anything in human history. Urban warfare at its most brutal. Normally armies fight in fields, lines of soldiers, tanks, artillery, open space. Stalingrad? No space. Everything was ruins. Buildings collapsed into streets, basements flooded, rubble everywhere. You couldn't use tanks effectively. Streets were too narrow, too blocked. Tanks got stuck, got ambushed, got burned. You couldn't use artillery effectively. The enemy was 50 meters away, sometimes 10 meters, shelling your own men as much as theirs. So it became infantry warfare. Room to room, building to building, sometimes floor to floor in the same building. Germans on the first floor, Soviets on the second, fighting with grenades and bayonets through the floorboards. Life expectancy of a Soviet soldier arriving at Stalingrad? 24 hours, not weeks, not days, hours. Most men died within a day of arriving, shot, blown up, crushed, burned. The city ate soldiers alive. Vasily watched men around him die in their first firefight. He survived because of his hunting skills. He stayed low, moved carefully, observed before acting. His commander noticed. "You, Zaitsev, you don't panic, you don't rush, you think. We need snipers. Report to Captain Danilov." October 1942. Vasily joined a sniper group under Captain Danilov, a political commissar who was also trying to organize sniper units. The Soviet command realized, we can't win Stalingrad with frontal assaults. The Germans have better weapons, better tactics, better training. We need different methods. Sniping became that method. One good sniper could kill 10 Germans a day without exposing Soviet troops to counterattack. It was efficient, cost-effective, and psychologically devastating. The Germans were terrified of snipers. You never saw them. You never heard them. You just watched your friend's head explode. No warning, no chance, just death. Vasily excelled immediately. His first day as a designated sniper, 3 kills. Second day, 5 kills. Third day, 7 kills. Within 2 weeks, 32 confirmed kills. The man was a natural. No, not natural. A professional. Years of hunting in the Urals had trained him for exactly this. He understood concealment. In the Urals, animals can smell you, hear you, see you from hundreds of meters. You learn to be invisible. At Stalingrad, Germans couldn't see him. He blended into rubble, into shadows, into ruins. He became part of the environment. He understood patience. In the Urals, you wait hours for the perfect shot at a deer. 1 bullet, no waste. At Stalingrad, he'd wait 6 hours for a German officer to light a cigarette. 1 second of visibility, 1 shot, kill. He understood wind, distance, trajectory. Years of long-range hunting taught him to calculate shots in his head. No fancy equipment, just experience. And he understood the psychological game. Make the enemy afraid. Make them know there's a hunter who never misses. Make them scared to look out windows, scared to move during the day, scared to exist. The Germans started calling him the Hare. Zаяc in Russian means hare. They'd see his handiwork, bodies with perfect headshots, and knew the hare was hunting. November 1942. Vasily's reputation grew. 40 kills, 50 kills, 60 kills. The numbers kept climbing. The Soviet propaganda machine discovered him. Captain Danilov, the commissar, saw an opportunity. Soviet morale was terrible. Men were dying by the thousands. Stalingrad looked unwinnable. The soldiers needed hope, a hero, a symbol. Danilov started writing about Vasily in Soviet newspapers. The people's hero, the shepherd who became a legend, Vasily Zaitsev, one man, 60 Nazis dead. The article spread through the Soviet lines. Soldiers read about Vasily and thought, if he can kill Nazis like that, maybe we can win. The propaganda worked. Vasily became famous across the entire Soviet Union. Letters arrived from soldiers, from civilians, from women offering marriage proposals. Vasily hated it. I'm just doing my job. I'm a soldier, not a celebrity. But Danilov kept writing, and Stalin's regime kept promoting. Vasily Zaitsev was too valuable as a propaganda tool. His kills gave hope. Hope kept soldiers fighting. November 1942. Vasily started running a sniper school in the ruins, teaching other Soviet soldiers his methods. Rule 1, patience. Don't rush. Wait for the perfect shot. You have one bullet, the German has one life. Make it count. Rule 2, concealment. You must be invisible, not hidden. Invisible. The enemy should look directly at you and see nothing. Rule 3, positioning. Always know where you'll move after the shot. Shoot and stay, dead. Shoot and move, alive. Rule 4, psychology. Shoot officers first, shoot medics second, shoot machine gunners third. Make them afraid of leadership. Make them afraid to help wounded. Make them afraid of their own weapons. Rule 5, no patterns. Don't shoot from the same position twice. Don't shoot at the same time each day. The Germans are smart. Patterns get you killed. Vasily trained 28 snipers. They called themselves Zaychata, meaning leverets, or baby hares. Vasily's students, his pack. Together, they killed hundreds of Germans. The Nazis realized they had a serious problem. Soviet snipers were bleeding them dry. And then the Germans sent their own sniper to kill Vasily Zaitsev. His name, according to Soviet propaganda, was Major Erwin König, head of the German sniper school in Zossen, an aristocrat, a master marksman, sent specifically to kill the famous Vasily Zaitsev. Did Major König actually exist? Probably not. Most historians think Danilov invented him for propaganda purposes, the perfect enemy, German aristocrat versus Soviet peasant, fascist perfection versus communist determination. But in 1942, Vasily believed König was real. So did every Soviet soldier at Stalingrad. And the story, true or not, became legendary. November 1942. Rumours spread through the Soviet lines. A German super sniper is here. He's killed 5 of our snipers already. He's hunting Zaitsev. Vasily heard the rumours, and whether König existed or not, someone was definitely killing Soviet snipers with expert precision. One of Vasily's students, Morozov, was killed. Clean headshot, professional work. Another student, shaken, wounded. Shot through the shoulder from 400 meters while moving between positions. Whoever this German sniper was, he was good. Really good. Vasily decided, I'll hunt him. The way I hunt wolves in the Urals, study his patterns, find his positions, wait for him to make a mistake. For 3 days, Vasily and his remaining students searched. Where would a German sniper position himself? High ground, clear sight lines, near German-controlled territory but with escape routes. They narrowed it down. Probably the Barricadi gun factory area. Lots of ruins, elevated positions, German lines 200 meters away. Vasily and his spotter, Nikolai Kulikov, set up a hide site. 3rd floor of a destroyed apartment building, rubble piled for concealment, window frame with no glass, just open air. Perfect sight line across no man's land to German positions. They waited. All night, nothing. All morning, nothing. Then, 2 p.m. Vasily saw something. A metal sheet in German territory that had a small hole. The hole was dark, which meant something was behind it. And the positioning was perfect for a sniper hide. Vasily whispered to Kulikov. There, 2nd building, ground floor, metal sheet with hole, he's there. Are you sure? No, but I think so. How do we confirm? Vasily thought. We'll use bait. Raise a helmet on a stick, see if he shoots. If he shoots, we'll see the muzzle flash. Kulikov slowly raised a Soviet helmet on a stick above their position, just enough to be visible. Crack! A shot. The helmet flew off the stick, hole through the centre, but no muzzle flash. The German was using a suppressor. No, Soviet intelligence said German snipers didn't have those, so where was he? Then Vasily understood. The German wasn't in the metal sheet hide. That was a decoy. The real hide was somewhere else. The German was watching the metal sheet to see who reacted. "Don't move," Vasily whispered. "He's testing us. Stay still." They stayed frozen for 2 hours. Finally Vasily saw it. A glint. Sunlight reflecting off glass. A scope. Fourth building to the left. Elevated position behind rubble. There. That was the real hide. "I see him," Vasily whispered. "I'm taking the shot." "Are you sure? If you miss." "I won't miss." Vasily adjusted his aim. The German was partially concealed. Just his scope visible, but that was enough. Vasily breathed out slowly. Steadied. Squeezed. Crack. Across no man's land, 200 meters away, the German sniper fell. Shot through the eye via his own scope. Dead instantly. Vasily and Kulikov waited until dark, then crawled across to confirm. The dead German was wearing a Waffen-SS uniform, an officer, experienced, based on his equipment and positioning. Was this Major Koenig? The Soviets said yes. German records say no. There was no Major Koenig at Stalingrad. Doesn't matter. Vasily killed an expert German sniper in a 3-day duel. Real enough. November to December 1942. Vasily kept hunting. 100 kills, 150 kills, 200 kills. Every day he went into the ruins. Every day he found Germans. Every day he shot them. Officers coordinating attacks. Machine gunners setting up positions. Artillery observers calling in strikes. Vasily killed them all. The Germans became terrified. You couldn't see him. You couldn't find him. You just knew that if you showed yourself, you died. German soldiers refused to move during daylight. They'd wait until dark, move positions at night, stay hidden during the day. Vasily changed their behaviour. One man, with a rifle, changed how an entire German division fought. By January 1943, Vasily had 242 confirmed kills. Confirmed meaning witnessed by a commissar or fellow soldier, body verified, kill counted officially. 242 kills in 4 months. That's 2 kills per day. Every day. For 4 months. In the most brutal urban warfare in human history. To put that in perspective, the average Soviet sniper had maybe 20 to 30 kills for the entire war. Good snipers had 50 to 60 kills. Elite snipers had 100 plus kills. Vasily had 242 in 4 months. He was an anomaly, an outlier, the best sniper on the Eastern Front, possibly in all of World War II. But then, January 1943, Vasily's war ended, temporarily. January 22nd, 1943. Vasily was in a forward position near the Barricadi factory. A German mortar strike hit his location. Shrapnel exploded around him. He survived. Barely. But shrapnel fragments embedded in his eyes. Both eyes. He went blind. The medics evacuated him immediately, transported to a field hospital, then to Moscow for treatment. The doctors weren't optimistic. "The shrapnel is deep. We can try surgery, but you'll probably stay blind. I'm sorry." Vasily, age 27, blind, lying in a Moscow hospital bed, thought his war was over, thought his life as a soldier was finished. Then Professor Vladimir Filatov, the best ophthalmic surgeon in the Soviet Union, heard about Vasily's case. "I'll operate, no guarantees, but I'll try." Filatov performed an experimental surgery, microsurgery to remove shrapnel from the eyes without destroying the optic nerves. Incredibly delicate, incredibly dangerous. It worked. Partially. Vasily regained sight in his right eye. The left eye remained damaged, limited vision, but the right eye functioned. February 1943. Vasily was still recovering when the news arrived. Stalingrad had been won. The German 6th Army, 250,000 men, had been surrounded by Soviet forces. Cut off, starved, frozen. On February 2nd, 1943, they surrendered. The Soviets captured 91,000 German soldiers. The rest, 150,000 plus, were dead, frozen, starved, killed in the fighting. Stalingrad was the turning point of World War II in Europe, the first major German defeat, the moment the Nazi advance stopped. After Stalingrad, Germany never regained the initiative on the Eastern Front, and Vasily Zaitsev, the shepherd from the Urals, had been part of it. His 242 kills had helped hold the line, had terrified the Germans, had given hope to Soviet soldiers. The Soviet propaganda machine loved it. Vasily Zaitsev, hero of Stalingrad, blinded in battle, but victorious, the people's champion. Vasily recovered slowly. By March 1943, he returned to duty. Not as a sniper, his damaged left eye made long-range shooting difficult, but as a sniper instructor. He spent the rest of the war training Soviet snipers, teaching them everything he had learned at Stalingrad: patience, concealment, psychology, tactics. His students killed thousands of Germans. The techniques Vasily taught spread through the entire Soviet army. By 1945, Soviet snipers were the most feared in the world, and it started with Vasily. May 8th, 1945. Germany surrendered. World War II in Europe was over. Vasily survived. 242 confirmed kills. Dozens of Nazi officers dead. Hundreds of German soldiers terrified. One entire German division slowed down by one man with a rifle. He received the Hero of the Soviet Union Medal, the highest Soviet military honor. Only 12,000 people received it during the entire war. Vasily was one of them. After the war, Vasily stayed in the military for a few years, then retired. He moved to Kiev, Ukraine, got married, had children, worked as an engineer at a textile factory. He rarely talked about Stalingrad. When people asked, he'd say, "I did my duty, that's all." In the 1960s, a journalist found him and asked to write his biography. Vasily agreed, reluctantly. The book, Notes of a Sniper, was published in 1956. It became a bestseller in the Soviet Union. But the West didn't know about Vasily until much later. The Cold War kept Soviet stories hidden. Western historians focused on American and British heroes, not Soviet ones. 1991. The Soviet Union collapsed. Archives opened. Western historians discovered Vasily's story and realized this man was legendary. 2001. Hollywood made Enemy at the Gates, a film about Vasily's sniper duel with Major Koenig. Jude Law played Vasily, Ed Harris played Koenig. The movie was historically inaccurate. Koenig probably didn't exist. The duel was dramatized. But it introduced Vasily Zaitsev to millions of people worldwide. December the 15th, 1991. Vasily died in Kiev, age 76. Natural causes. He was buried in Kiev. But in 2006, his remains were exhumed and reburied in Volgograd, formerly Stalingrad, at the Mamayev-Kurgan Memorial, overlooking the city he helped defend. His grave is marked with a simple stone. Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev, hero of the Soviet Union, 1915 to 1991. No mention of 242 kills, no mention of the sniper duels, just his name and his honor. Today, Stalingrad is called Volgograd, a modern city of 1 million people. Rebuilt from the ruins, the Mamayev-Kurgan Memorial stands on the hill where Vasily fought. Every year, thousands of Russians visit to remember the battle, to remember the soldiers who died, to remember Vasily Zaitsev and the snipers who held the line. Vasily's rifle, his Mosin Nagant, is in a museum in Volgograd. Scratched, worn, but still functional. That rifle killed 242 Germans. That rifle helped win Stalingrad. Modern military snipers study Vasily's tactics, patience, concealment, psychology, the fundamentals he mastered in the Ural Mountains and perfected in Stalingrad's ruins. The US Army's sniper manual references Vasily. The British SAS sniper course teaches his methods. He's considered one of the greatest snipers in military history, alongside Simo Häyhä, Finland, Carlos Hathcock, USA, and Chris Kyle, USA. But what makes Vasily special isn't just the 242 kills, it's that he came from nowhere. A peasant, a shepherd, no formal military training before the war. Just a man who learned to hunt to survive, and when his country needed him, he took those hunting skills and applied them to war, and became a legend. One man, one rifle, 242 kills, against the most powerful army in the world. That's the story of Vasily Zaitsev. If this story of impossible odds and deadly precision moved you, hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. Greatest sniper in history, or are there better stories? November 1942. Stalingrad. The ruins. The cold. The death. Vasily Zaitsev, age 27, former shepherd, lying in rubble with a rifle, hunting Germans like wolves in the Urals. One shot, one kill. The philosophy his grandfather taught him. In 4 months, 242 Germans died to that philosophy. 242 confirmed kills, 2 per day, every day. He stopped officers from leading. He stopped machine gunners from firing. He stopped artillery observers from calling strikes. One man changed how an entire German division fought, made them afraid of daylight, made them afraid to move, made them afraid to exist. The Soviet propaganda called him a hero. The Germans called him a demon. The truth? He was just a soldier doing his job. A job he learned in the Urals, hunting to survive. Patience, concealment, precision. Skills that saved his life. Skills that killed 242 enemies. Skills that helped win Stalingrad. Vasily Zaitsev died in 1991, age 76, in his bed in Kiev. Peaceful, quiet. But his legacy lives on, in every sniper who learns patience, in every soldier who learns concealment, in every memorial at Volgograd, the shepherd who became a legend, the peasant who stopped a Nazi division, Vasily Grigorievich Zaitsev, hero of the Soviet Union, 242 kills, 1 rifle, 1 war. Stalingrad remembers, history remembers, we remember. The deadliest sniper at Stalingrad, the man who proved that sometimes 1 person with a rifle matters more than 1,000 with tanks. 1 shot, 1 kill. The way his grandfather taught him, the way he lived, the way he fought, the way he won.